So over this weekend I went out with a bunch of church friends and we hung out at Starbucks and went to Dave & Buster's to chow down and eat. Pretty tasty, pretty tasty. We got into a conversation where this girl was talking about, well, a bunch of people were talking about relationships, and then somehow the topic got steered toward, well, what's your ideal kind of guy? And this one gal said, well, I get all the bad luck and I attract all the wrong guys. And she just threw it out there. She just says, I just attract all forms of bad guys. Whether they're they drink, they do drugs, they fool around, like unfaithful, they can't manage their money, have fits of rage, that kind of stuff. So, well, I told her, well, I mentioned, well, you're the type of personality that can't say no to stray cats or dogs. You have to take them in and you feed them. And the sisters laughed. She had two sisters with her, one older, two older sisters, and they both laughed and they said, well, yeah, it's true. She's taken in two stray cats on separate occasions. So, and then I went, and then you know, she kind of laughed. She go, they actually kind of laughed, saying, and they said, well, that's actually you're pretty accurate there. What else can you tell us? And then I said, well, do you know why you do it? And she says, well, no, not really. I guess I just have a heart for them. And I said, well, no, it goes beyond that, a little deeper, one level deeper. That's because when you were younger, there was something you were powerless or helpless to do. You wanted to, you just felt completely powerless, and you were in a situation or observed a situation where you just didn't have the ability to fix, and it's been with you this whole time. And then her sisters went, ooh, oh, that is true. And she started welling up in her eyes. Her eyes started getting wet and a little red, and I know I hit a sore spot, a sensitive zone. And I found out that their mother, the three sisters, the mother had been stuck in a bed and been bedridden, and she basically had to take care of her, and spent a big chunk of her time taking care of her mother, and she was powerless to do anything. And her dad was, I guess, so busy working, he didn't have time to take care of the sisters. So I let this topic drop at that point. I figured, man, I hit a very sensitive spot and she's getting ready to cry, so I'm going to leave it alone. But I wasn't, you know, my big mouth, right? I was about to put more salt in the wound, but what I wanted to convey to her is that her daughter was there. She had like a 5 or 6 year old daughter, and I found out that the husband was had beaten her too. Not the daughter, but the wifey, or one of the girls, and he was just messed up. He was extremely possessive, and anyway, and right now, I met her boyfriend too. Her boyfriend talked to me about business, and business is actually one of my passions. I like to talk about business and making deals and stuff, and I had the impression that the boyfriend was very successful, and then in the course of our conversation, she had mentioned that her boyfriend stole money from her piggy bank. What? That just blew my impressions out of the water. That he just didn't have enough cash and he had to borrow money for her piggy bank by opening the bottom of the piggy bank out and pulling out a 20. And I'm thinking, man, you have to borrow money, 20 bucks, and then you make it and I found out that it was a habit, it was habitual, that every now and then he'd go in and pull out the 20 that's in the piggy bank, and then when he gets his 20 he puts it back in. I'm thinking, man, this is a sign of a very bad money manager. He doesn't, I mean, 20 bucks, right? And he gets paid more than her. He gets paid actually quite a bit. So anyway, what I wanted to touch upon was the little daughter couldn't make eye contact with me when I said hi. And in order for her to get to look at me, she's over here, I have to look away and I have to say hi, and then she'll look at me. To me, that's like a sign of there's something there that I don't know what it is. I think there's some degree of fear like a little daughter has, like she doesn't know how to behave around men. There's this concept that you love them, you love men, but you fear them and hate them. There's some bitterness, but you still want them, they're desirable. And so I wanted to take it one more step, and maybe next time I see her, I'll mention it. I'll tell her, hey, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to hit a sore spot, but you got to get rid of that vinegar, that bitterness, because it's hurting your daughter. Somehow you have to forgive yourself. Because every now and then too, she'll say phrases like, when we went walking a little, we parked a little further away from the restaurant, and I'm into walking now. I spend about 1-2 hours a day just walking for exercise, sometimes running. But I had mentioned that oh yeah, let's do more walking, and she said, well, if I didn't have my daughter, I'd do it more. And you know, the daughter would pick that up and it would affect her. So I wanted to convey to her to address that bitterness and forgive herself for the past, for her bad relationships, and forgive herself for when she was a child, she was powerless, and to break the cycle of dating bad guys and attracting the bad guys, and forgiving herself for mistakes and not carrying on a cycle with her daughter. My point about trying to make up for the past, my point in bringing that up in a video blog is I'm kind of hoping that because I've talked about the subject, people are made aware, and when they're made aware, then you can come up with a solution. You know, I hope that because I made mention of it, and I hope that in the future my friend is going to be able to forgive herself and not allow the past to continually dominate her life. Of course, it's just none of my business to intrude in people's lives, but I say what I do, I say what I can, and people can take it however way they want. My ultimate goal would be is just to help them. And if I've made you aware of something that maybe that you've been trying to compensate for, trying to make up for the past for, please put in your commentary. I'm kind of curious if this has helped anybody else. I have helped one of my cousins who, when he got married and had a kid, he would just spend tons and tons and tons of toys for the kid, because as a child he would never have toys. So in a lot of ways you know what, he is compensating for the past. He's buying the things that he never had, which is kind of obvious. That's like one of the more obvious things. But like, you know, dating problem men. I mean, if you're a girl, dating problem men, dating abusive men or something, or even dating problem women. I dated problem women for a little while too, because when my mom had gotten a divorce, I was really helpless. You know, I was very powerless. I couldn't really help her because I was too young. So there's that stuff going on in many different forms. So if any of you out there have kind of watched this and thought about it and realized that you're making up for the past, then by all means, please do post a comment. I'm curious if curious about you guys out there. Thanks.